Hey Leon, do you think Requiem is gonna be one of the best Resident Evil games ever made?
Yeah.
See, he agrees. How's it going, everyone? My name is Primacon. Today I want to yap about Resident Evil Requiem. That's right, Resi 9 is just a month away, which is crazy that I'm saying those sentences right now because, boy, I used to dream about times like these. The last Resident Evil game we got was RE4 Remake all the way back in March 23. So now, it's been almost 3 years since a Resident Evil game, which is one of the more longer wait times when it comes to the modern Resident Evil era, counting down from Resident Evil 7 all the way back in 2016. We have really never had to wait this long for a brand new banger by Capcom. And if you want to get more technical, a new Resident Evil game that's not a remake, it's been about 5 years. As Village came out all the way back in the ancient lands of 2021. So this has been a long time coming. People are hyped about it, and so is Capcom. As we get closer to the release, they are hyping up their marketing, like with the recently released short film, which by the way is one of the best Resident Evil live action things I have ever seen. If you haven't seen that little 3-minute short film, you are missing out. If you were avoiding it like the plague because you hate Resident Evil movies, it's not like that at all. That thing is absolute cinema. Whoever was in charge of that project needs to get on Netflix or something and give us an actual proper Resident Evil movie. But that's besides the point. Capcom is now ramping up marketing. The question on everybody's tongues right now, including mine, is where the fuck is the demo, Capcom? They're pretty famous for having demos of Resident Evil games. I can't even remember the last time a modern Resi game didn't have a demo. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but since Resi 7, all of them have had a demo except this one. I do keep hearing on the internet that Capcom has confirmed that they will not be releasing a demo, but they could also just be false information and rumors floating around. At the end of the day, we don't know yet. There's still about 3 weeks left since the game comes out, so who knows, maybe they'll shadow drop a demo next week. I don't know. That would be great. What is great though, recently Capcom had a creator event where they invited a bunch of YouTubers to play 3 solid hours of Resident Evil 9. That put my mind at ease because there was this worry starting to brew in my mind that is the reason they're not showing the demo is because the game is bad? Maybe like not even gameplay wise but technical wise? Is it a Cyberpunk 2077 situation? Like what are they trying to hide, right? Like I was starting to get worried until they did this, and everyone who went to play 3 fucking hours of Resident Evil 9, by the way, I'm so goddamn jealous, have had nothing but good things to say about this game. In fact, the only criticism I've heard come from creators is that they just hope that it doesn't pull out a Resident Evil 3. Because Resident Evil 3 Remake also looked amazing in the demos. They showed that little city section they built. Everyone was praising it, and then it turns out that was just the start of the game, and then the game completely fumbles the bag later on with the amount of cut content and stuff it had. So people are just hoping that the steam Resident Evil 9 is able to build up in its 3-hour demo. It's able to carry that steam all the way to the end, which by the way, the end is far away. This is gonna be one of the longer Resident Evil games, with the game director comparing the game length of Resident Evil Requiem to that of Resi 4 Remake, which is already one of the longest Resident Evil games. So that is another huge news. And circling back to that little technical performance worry I was talking about, well, recently we found out that Resident Evil 9 will actually be running at 60 FPS on the Switch 2. That is some banger optimization. What? With games like Final Fantasy running at 30 FPS on the Switch 2, that is what I expected from RE9 Requiem as well. But IGN made a video about it, and yeah, it's running at smooth 60 baby on a Switch fucking 2. I mean, it makes sense. They're doing collab with Switch and making a special Switch 2 Pro controller, which looks really sick. I want to buy it, but it's fucking expensive as all hell. Same with the other brand collabs Resident Evil 9 seems to be developing into. I mean, Porsche and a luxury watch that I can't even remember the name of because I'm too broke. Just doesn't seem like the kind of products Resident Evil fans are going out there and buying. I doubt all of us are gonna buy a new Porsche because of the game. So as long as they don't lean too heavily into the product placement and don't let it get in the way of the gameplay and the story, it's pretty harmless and fine. It did piss a lot of people off though when they did the showcase, in which the later half of the showcase was just product placement ads. But they have since redeemed themselves by showing footage of that 3-hour demo. And that footage is peak. If you've been living under a Resident Evil rock, well, this game is divided into 2 kinds of Resident Evil games to appeal to everybody. A survival horror Resident Evil 7 style game with Grace Ashcroft, and then a more action focused Resident Evil 4 style game with Leon Sexy Kennedy. and apparently it's way more integrated than I initially thought. At first I thought they were just gonna be two separate stories going back and forth between each other with no meaningful overlap, but from the demo that they put out to the creators, apparently you're gonna be exploring the same sections with Leon as Grace, and if there's some zombies that you left alive as Grace, or there were some items you forgot to pick up or didn't have the space to pick up as Grace, you can then interact with those zombies or items as Leon. So it is actually very interconnected, which is a good thing. That's a big thumbs up right there for me. It's almost like they're doing Resident Evil 2 with their scenario concept again, but instead of having it two separate scenarios that you select from the menu, they just have them together as a one single package, as one single game. In fact, it's so cool that Leon's inventory style is the same as the attaché case from Resident Evil 4, whereas Grace's inventory style is more akin to something you'll see in Resident Evil 7 or Village. It's just perfect. It's not just the gameplay styles, but as minute things as like camera perspective. They have a full built-in 3D camera, third-person camera for both the characters as well as first-person. Now, if you are a fan of Resident Evil Village, don't worry, it's not the same thing that they did with Village where they just did a fake third person where essentially it was still the first person camera, but now you could just see your character. They did some camera magic there. It didn't really feel natural. That's not at all the case with Requiem. It's actually a proper third person. For example, if you play with Grace as third person, you see some special animations, like when she tries to run away, she'll stumble, she'll freak out. Like there's a lot of mannerisms in her body language that you'll be able to see when you play third person. So it has gameplay implications. It's pretty very well baked into it. It's not just a half-ass attempt like they did with Village. So yeah, again, this game is trying to hit all the mark. I just hope that it's able to hit them both equally and hit them both well enough. I don't want it to be a game that's trying to appeal to everyone and then it ends up being underwhelming to both the fans of the genre. You know what I mean? I have faith in Capcom. They've given me no reason to needlessly worry about it. Leon's gameplay look absolutely fucking sick. I mean, it's one of the coolest kill animations we have ever seen in a Resident Evil game. I thought it was pretty cool in RE4 remake, but now they've just dialed that shit up to a 11. The amount of blood in this game is insane. I don't think any Resident Evil game has ever been this gory. Blood just goes everywhere, and they've designed zombies around it too. For example, there's this cleaner lady zombie that, you know, will seek out spilled blood and clean it up. So if you've gone through a massacre or if you've killed someone in Grace, you better hide because maybe the cleaning lady will pop up there trying to clean the blood and also wipe you out of existence. They're bringing back a zombie mutation from Resident Evil 1 where you have to apparently burn a zombie to fully kill it, and if you don't, then they might come back as a stronger mutated version of themselves. They've also shown off like a mini boss fight named Chunk. Chunk is Big Chungus. He chases you around this hospital and his body covers the entire width of the hallway, so you can't go around him as Grace. You have to run away and find a different path. Chunk is pretty fucking cool, and apparently Chunk is not just a one and done deal. We see Leon killing Chunk in the new gameplay footage we got, but apparently there will be more Chunks later in the game, so that's pretty cool. We haven't seen any gameplay of the Raccoon City. I feel like that's a major section of the game that Capcom is keeping hush-hush to avoid spoilers. We saw Raccoon City heavily marketed in the very first trailer we got of Requiem all the way back at Summer Game Fest, but ever since then, nothing have been seen of the Raccoon City other than obviously the short film that took place in Raccoon City. So I feel like that is going to be a major chunk of the game. The demo has allowed Let's Players to pretty much fully explore the hospital. I feel like the hospital is just going to be the very intro section of the game, and then it will massively open up in Raccoon City, but that's just my speculation. Honestly, they have done very well setting everything up. Now all they gotta do is just stick the landing on February 27th, and hey, maybe deliver us a demo while they're at it, you know, that would be nice. I really don't understand why they would go no demo route with Requiem now when they've been doing demos for like a decade. Anyway, let me know in the comments below your thoughts about Resident Evil 9. Are you as excited as I am? This is so fucking hype for me. I haven't been this excited for a video game since Hollow Knight Silksong, so it's gonna be a really great month. And hey, my birthday's in 11 days, so you know what? Maybe it will be a nice month. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thank you for watching. Primacon signing out.